Hey everybody, tonight I wanted to go over a new product that I'm bringing to the market. But before we go into that, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about batteries and all of the different battery options that are out there for your racing application. So by now you've probably heard of lithium batteries. You're probably very familiar with a traditional lead acid style battery, and all of these batteries have pros and cons to them. Starting with the lead acid battery, that would be what you commonly find in your passenger vehicles. That's the kind of battery you're going to go to Walmart and be able to buy. And those batteries are very reliable and they work really well, but they are very heavy. The more amperage that you need and the more cranking amps, the bigger and heavier that battery is going to be. For example, my dad used to run two deep cycle marine style lead acid batteries in his race car, and those things were 75 pounds each, and he had to run two because one wouldn't do the job when he got into the later rounds. It just wouldn't recharge fast enough, and so he had to have a lot of capacity. So he, essentially was running 150 pounds worth of batteries. And so that's one end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum would be some of these really lightweight lithium 16 volt batteries. There's even some 24 volt stuff I've seen out there. And you can get a battery as light as 7 or 8 pounds. And they're very nice batteries. The problem with those batteries are they come at a cost. They're usually very expensive. And the reality of those small lithium batteries is they're very sensitive and they don't have a very long life to them. Those type of batteries, you cannot let them drain down. If you let one of those things drain all the way down, it's junk. It'll flip the cells. You'll have to send it back to the manufacturer. Usually cost you $300 or $400 to get that thing fixed. The other problem with them is they're not a super high cranking amp. So for a diesel application where we require a lot of load on cranking to get these engines cranked over, you really need to run two of those lightweight lithium deals. And then the cost ends up being a lot. You now have double the chance of having a battery failure. You have to be super cautious on those batteries. They're very finicky about the temperature. Sometimes if it's very cold out, you'll have a hard time getting the truck to start with those batteries. So although they are the lightest option on the market, you can get two, like say Go Lithium batteries with a battery tray for 17, 18 pounds total weight. But you're gonna spend over $2,000 on those. There's some other options out there that are a single lithium battery that are similar in weight, around 20, 25 pounds. And I've seen those cost as much as $3,000. So you can get a whole lot of money wrapped up in chasing a really lightweight battery that oftentimes more than not are very finicky. You have to be very good about staying up on them, keeping them charged, not letting them get too low. And then your more middle of the road type stuff, more commonplace, your AGM battery, like a Optima battery, XS Power makes a bunch of different good AGM batteries. And usually those things weigh between 40 to 60 pounds. The problem that you'll find there is trying to get one with enough cranking amps. It's very hard to find anything over 1,000, 1,100 cranking amp in that sort of battery configuration that doesn't cost $2,000 or $3,000. So to try to save weight with a battery, there really hasn't been a lot of good options that were affordable. You were pretty much going to commit to spending $2,000 or $3,000, and knowing that you might have to spend another $300 or $400 every couple years on those things, having them gone through, being very finicky with them, or you were going to spend $300 or $400 on a battery that honestly wasn't going to be good enough for your cranking amp situation anyways. I tell people all the time, the three things that at the race that you do not want to have to worry about is spool up, staging, and battery. That's just the three things that will absolutely make your day at the track no fun. So the battery is the one thing that I never want to have to worry about. So with that all being said, I wanted a battery that would have plenty of cranking amps. I wanted a battery that you would not have to worry about. And I wanted a battery with protection to where you couldn't kill it if you ran it all the way down. And I wanted a light battery. And of course, I wanted this all to be relatively affordable. So what we have here is a 12-volt lithium battery with built-in battery protection. So what that means is this is just like your tool drills that you have, your cordless drills. You cannot run this thing down and kill it. It will simply shut off just like your drills do if you get it too low. I can tell you that we have been testing these for 2 years now in several different applications. I have one of these in my dad's race car. I have a couple of these in my father-in-law's bass boat. I've been running one of these in the Fossil, and we have never gotten this thing to shut off. It is a 100 amp hour battery, so it will do a whole lot. I've never been in a situation at the track. My dad's never been in a situation at the track, even going late into rounds with bracket racing. Sometimes they'll make you get those things turned around quick. We've never gotten into a situation where this battery has ever got to that point. It has always been awesome. It is 1900 cranking amps. So this thing really cranks over good. My 12 valve motor is lower compression. So it's known that those things require more cranking, and this thing is just a beast. You can crank on it and crank on it and crank on it forever. It is alternator compatible, as to where some of the 16 volt stuff, you'd have to switch your alternator over to a 16 volt alternator. Some of that stuff isn't alternator compatible. This is. So you can put this right in your street truck and change absolutely nothing. And this thing right here weighs 23 pounds. It is a group 33 size battery. So the length of it is 16 and 15/16 length. The width of it is 6 3/16, and the height is 7.5 inches. The nice thing about having a little bit physically larger battery like this is in a truck, it's not really a problem. There's usually tons and tons of room where you can put a larger size battery. But the nice thing is that if you ever did have some crazy failure and you needed a battery and you were at the track, you could easily run to your local parts store at the track and get any 12 volt battery and stick it right in the place of this. If you have one of those little tiny lithium batteries, you're kind of screwed when it comes to that. If you have a problem at the track, your day is pretty much done. So I wanted something that was going to be physically large enough to where you could go to the parts store and get anything that they had on the shelf and keep you running that day. So this setup does come with a charger. This charger here not only does 12 volt lithium batteries, but it also does 12 volt AGM, 12 volt regular batteries, and 6 volt batteries. So that's another nice thing is a lot of these other batteries that are out there on the market, the charger only charges their style battery. So you spend money on a charger that only does one function, as to where this charger, you could use it to charge anything else. And it has a memory mode in it to where as soon as you plug it back up to this 12 volt lithium battery, it'll remember that this is a lithium, it'll detect that, and it'll put it to the correct charging mode. So you don't have to worry about accidentally charging your lithium battery with the wrong style AGM charging. And then it comes with these jumper alligator clips. And this is a connector on here on this end, and a connector on this end, so these two just connect together. What you could do is you can cut this connector in off here and wire it directly to your battery, and then have this side on the truck to where this would plug directly in, so that we don't have to mess with the gator clips every time. Or I'm also going to be sending these Tim McCamus style plastic connectors, and these actually have mounting hardware to where you could actually put a little tab on your chassis or on the back of the truck, and you could mount one side to it and then you can wire the other side to the charger here, and then you can just plug it in every single time. That's how we had it on JP's truck. So this setup right here, battery, charger, connectors, everything is $1,100 shipped. These have to go ground shipping because you cannot fly lithium in the air. So please note that it could take 5 to 7 business days for you to actually get this if you're far away. But for $1,100, this is a really nice piece. We've had no failures with it. I've actually left the power on my truck on accident before and left it on for about 10 hours and came back to it and realized that I left it on, and I fired the truck up and it fired right up. If that would have been one of the lighter weight, more expensive lithium batteries, it would have been junk. We would have had to send that thing back and spent $300 or $400 and waited a couple weeks to get it fixed. So really excited to bring this to market for you guys. I think that this will fit a lot of people's application, a lot of people's budget, and I just think that it'll be a good fit if you're trying to race your truck. 23 pounds and 1,100 bucks. I know we've all spent a lot more than that to try to lose 40 or 50 pounds. My dad got rid of 2 of his batteries, so both of those 75-pound batteries, and put this one 23-pound battery in it, just one. And it has done everything that he has needed it to do. So he was able to save a lot of weight. He saved almost 125 pounds on that deal. So these are not gonna be on the website just yet. I wanna give you YouTube subscribers first dibs at these. I have a limited quantity on this first run. So if you're interested in one of these, if you have some more questions, you want to talk more about them, send me an email to info@getloganbuilt.com or shoot me a call or text at 859-466-7737, and we'll talk about these things and we'll get you one of these things coming. So like always, guys, I appreciate it. I look forward to getting these in your guys' hands, getting in your trucks, and hearing your feedback on them. So thanks, and we'll catch you on the next one.